says we're going live.
So I think that means we're there. Oh,
Potentially, supposedly. Yeah. We're here early, so it's really going to throw everybody off.
Right. Well,
Hi, everybody.
Hey, everyone.
Kayla Lords.
John Brownstone.
Of Loving BDSM, where we help kinksters like you have happy, healthy power exchange relationships. This is our weekly live stream while we record our podcast. That's available on all podcast apps on Fridays. That. And we're here 6 minutes early before our stream time. So this is the butt rub portion where we just kind of like chill out for a few minutes. If you don't like this part and you arrive later, but before I put in timestamps, fast forward by about 5 or 6 minutes. If you're here for the stream but you don't like this part, this is your bathroom break opportunity. Go for it. And yes, we are.
Okay, I'll be right back.
Okay, bye. And yes, we are streaming a little bit earlier than normal. We will talk about why in just a second. But first, I have to say hi to everybody. Hi, Shay. Hi, Willow. Hi, Faye. Hi, Mr. Spock. Hi, Silent Wing. Hi.
You did good.
Thank you. There's this whole pattern that I've developed for getting our intro in, explaining to people, getting all the information that most people probably just ignore anyway, but whatever. That if I can get the rhythm of it, I can say it all, but then if I don't, it's like I've tripped over my own 2 feet. I don't know. Hi, Amanda. So, we're here. We're here 5 minutes early. Yeah. We're also here 30 minutes earlier than our normal stream time because today is early release day at the schools. They didn't do that last year. They are back to doing it this year. It was something to do with COVID restrictions that they put in place last year, but they're back to doing it this year. And so that's always on a Wednesday. It's always, I think.
I don't know why calling it early release.
It's like letting them out of
prison. Yeah. It's it's not early dismissal. It's early release.
Ask some of the kids. They might be like, yes, it is exactly like being let out of prison early. Hi, Leanne. Hi, Eva. So the 12-year-old, normally you don't leave until 3 to pick him up. But on early release day, you leave at 1. And on a good day, we can get done with the stream if we start at noon at 1:15. We didn't want to chance it.
Yeah, no.
Hi, Blossom. So we were like, let's just bump it up 30 minutes earlier. It'll be fun. And that actually worked out because we had been so on top of ourselves for everything else we needed to do. We recorded 2 videos this morning. And the only thing I have left to do other than the stream today is to edit those videos. I was like, I'm just twiddling my thumbs here. So I'm glad we started here.
If we get done early enough, I may even gear up Lola and take her with me in the car.
She would love that.
I know.
I'm gonna try to remember to put like little things on the upcoming videos because I always forget that part. But she snored through one entire recording of one video.
Yeah.
I think partially through the second video, and is currently snoring now. But if somebody would be like, why don't you just put her in another room? Because then she would howl through the entire video.
Right, because she wants to be in the same room. She wants to be in the same room as us.
She does. Plus, that's her love seat. I mean, we don't even hardly sit on it, mostly because it smells like dog at this point. We're going to tell her she's got to nap somewhere else? I don't think so. Although I have had thoughts about wanting to maybe move the crate into maybe another room. I know I haven't talked to you about it. You should have seen the look you just gave me, y'all. So...
Put it in the oldest room.
No, Lord, no. No, that room already smells like funk. Let us not add dog smell to it. Hi, Kenna.
Well, then it's contained to one room.
I know, right? No, because I keep thinking about how we can maybe resituate. Plus, as I'm doing more of my own shop things, we've already outgrown our little shop area.
Yeah, we have.
So we probably need to expand. If I thought that she would still love us if we got rid of her love seat, I would say just move her crate over there. But
oh gosh, no!
I think she would disown us if we get
if we no.
When the day comes we get rid of the love seat, she will not love us anymore.
No, she wouldn't.
So we got about 2 minutes until we're ready to start. I will say we are wearing special t-shirts today. Mine says Lost in Subspace. Woo, there's my boobs. Yours says Trust and Pain and Pleasure. The links for those are in the description box. I remembered this time. And they're designed by Ignixia, who is a kink educator and an artist and an all-around amazing person. Thank you very much. Yeah. And she kindly gave y'all a discount code to her Teespring shop, Loving DS. So if you decide you want to buy these or any of our other designs, use that code. Ta-da! You save. I think it's 15%. So we're wearing our shirts this week.
Mm-hmm.
We are wearing them in this video and the next 2 videos because I was like, I'm not doing fucking wardrobe changes. I just don't fucking care. I know people who are very like, they do wardrobe changes between every single video, and I'm like, first of all, I don't own that many clothes. Second of all, I can't be bothered. I just can't be bothered. I just can't. Plus, when people find your channel later, I mean, some people do go back and watch an order, but some people just like skip around and watch. So chances are they're going to see me in the same shirt in videos anyway.
Right.
I just don't care. I mean, sometimes I feel bad because there are certain things I just don't care about that other people care deeply about. And then I'm like, that's what makes me me. Hi, Sassy Vanessa.
Hello, everyone. Welcome.
So, we got 1 minute.
Yeah.
Most things to talk about are really bonus section things.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have anything else.
Uh-oh.
I know. And I've already forgotten a thing I said. I might talk about this in the bonus section, and I've already forgotten. Oh, I remember what it was.
But will you remember at the end of the podcast?
Probably not.
Yeah, right. See? Mm-hmm.
Probably not. No, probably not. This is how my brain works. It is 11:30, so let's get started. So as you can tell from the title of this week's video / live stream, we are going to actually talk about green flags for once instead of red flags. So yes, the opposite of a red flag is a green flag. So this is the good stuff. We've got like kind of a laundry list of things. We'll talk about that in a minute. Before we get to that, if at any point you enjoy this video, even a little bit, we love a thumbs up. If you have not already and would like to, because we haven't scared you away, please consider subscribing.
And once you subscribe, hit that notification bell to get updates of new content.
I mean, when YouTube feels like letting the notification thing work, but you know, whatever. We're house divided. Look, if you just obsessively scroll through your subscribe tab in the YouTube app, you don't need it.
Not everybody's like you.
I know.
Thank God.
Yeah, I don't think the planet could handle lots and lots of me. It's fine.
YouTube would crash and burn.
YouTube would the world would crash and burn. Hey, but a lot more things would get a lot more efficiently done, is all I'm saying. If you want content you can't get anywhere else, so some examples: a live stream every month just for our kinky patrons, a behind the scenes podcast episode, sneak peeks on everything, and access to a Discord server where our kinky community can gather. You can join us on Patreon for as little as $2 a month. It's patreon.com/KaylaLords, but the link is in the description box because it is always in the description box. So that is all the things that I can think of. I'm sure I've forgotten something because I usually do. Oh, reminder, if you like our shirts, links are in the description box as well. And now you can hit the magic button. There's so many buttons here. Are they all magical? I mean, are we devaluing the buttons by claiming they're all magical? I don't know. Okay, so this week I made lots and lots of notes. I know, and we're going to actually try to follow them. So, we're talking about green flags, and I can't give a complete shout out because I did this on purpose, but I want to say that we did not magically come up with this idea. It was absolutely inspired by a lot of my Instagram scrolling, actually. So, when you have multiple Instagram accounts, they each start to develop their own personalities. And the algorithm feeds you different things. And so I get a lot of vanilla relationship advice, and I get a lot of kink relationship advice. The kink relationship advice is the only one that makes sense, but here we are. And in several places, I've seen different coaches and therapists and other professionals start talking about green flags. The first time I saw it was a vanilla person, and I don't even remember who. And they were like, let's talk about some green flags in a relationship. And I'm like, well, that's a fascinating idea. And then I saw a kinkster coach or educator do it, and the moment I saw that, I went, "Ooh, I'd really love that to be a topic." And so then I refused to look at their content because I didn't want to be overly inspired to the point where I'm like, let me lift this word for word. But we did not just come up with this idea like out of the air. It was definitely inspired by conversations others are having. And what we're gonna do is sort of go through this list. It's in no particular order. It was literally us sitting down and me going, this is a green flag, and you going, that's a green flag, and we typed them all out. This is, try to keep this specific to power exchange relationships for the reason that we have upcoming videos of, we didn't call them green flags, we were calling them signs that this person is a good dominant or a good submissive, and those will be green flags as well, but specific to the role, okay? Also, we do not think this list is completely exhaustive. I'm sure there are other good signs, green flags, yay, this is a good thing, move forward kind of thing. These are just ours.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna try, because if I'm counting, it's 10 we came up with. I'm gonna try not to get bogged down, or we'll be here for many, many hours. And some of y'all might be okay with that because y'all are masochists, okay? The rest of you probably would not like that. So let's go down this list.
Okay.
The first one on our list, green flag, one or both preferably. You're willing to communicate, or to at least learn how to communicate. You might be bad at it, imperfect at it, but you will still try to do the open, honest communication. Say the thing you're thinking, talk about your needs, express yourself, listen to the other person, because communication isn't just what you say. It's sitting back and listening. That is, if you are willing to try to do it, no matter how imperfect you are at it, I would consider that a green flag.
Yeah. I mean, nobody's, sprung out of the box being a good communicator. And especially growing up, if you don't have good role models for learning to communicate, you have to work at the skill.
Absolutely. And I think the hardest part for most people, if you don't feel like you're a good communicator, or you're just pretty sure you're just fucking not, it's learning how to open your mouth and say the words, or find a way to communicate. I have always told myself I'm a great communicator, and I mean, there's certain things maybe I was okay at until I just finally got better at it, but I was, better than anybody, I was really bad at telling you what I needed, saying a hard thing, dealing with conflict. Like, if I was upset about something, actively saying those words was really, really tough. But I had embraced the idea that this was really important to our relationship. One, I'd watched my inability and a partner's inability to communicate crumble relationships. Like, I'd lived that experience. And so we found workarounds. We to this day, the past 2 times we've had to have, one time we were arguing, and the second time it was like, let's head off the argument because this is a better way to communicate. We actually did it in writing. Yeah. But we started that we started it because we were long distance and everything was in writing. It was just the way to constantly communicate. But we did that with conflict management when I needed to say something that I was struggling to say, but I felt was important to tell you. Even if it wasn't like I was mad at you, it was like, this thing is bothering me, this is hard to say. I would write it out. And that, over time, I learned that it is safe to say the thing. I developed the skill to say the thing most of the time. Correct. We do revert back to writing when I realized that there are certain topics. It's about tone we use. It's about facial expression. Right. We don't hear one another. We interpret what the other means based on a lot of other factors. And we've gone through past 2 disagreements, I would say. They weren't arguments, but disagreements. And we emailed it out. Right. And we actually communicated better that way. Yes. Because then you were just focusing on and I could edit myself and you could edit yourself. I could say what I meant to say and then make it actually like not put in sarcasm, not put in an eye roll, not let my voice get loud. And we still practice those old skills that worked years ago today. Yep. So it's not really even the method of communication so much as just that understanding and willingness to say, this is important, and even when I'm not doing it well and I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, because I think we all here know communication is the hallmark of everything we do. Without communication, you can't get consent. Without communication, you can't talk boundaries. Without communication, you're going to be stuck in old habits and processes that you had from vanilla life that didn't serve you. And so it's the top thing. And nobody should expect you to walk into it and be great at it, but that willingness is. And when, quite frankly, I will say communication is a kink of mine. When somebody is a good, and that's subjective good, a good communicator, I'm like 10 times more interested. I'm that type of person, that type of introvert especially. I want to have those deep conversations. I want to if I feel a good vibe with you, I want to talk to you. I've got a gnat flying in my face. Sorry, y'all. Oh my God. I want to sit and talk, and not the bullshit like, how's the weather? Even though weirdly, that is a conversation we have every single night about the weather, and it's the weirdest thing because I'm like, what? But so being able to communicate is actually like an attraction thing to me. If you can talk to me or are willing to talk to me and willing to listen to me and let me talk, which you better if you want to hang out with me, sorry. I'm even more interested anyway. But it's also the step of, this is how we progress in power exchange to any sort of good place.
There you go.
Next one. I honestly, some of these are going to be obvious, but we're trying to focus on the good and not just the danger, red flag here kind of thing. You respect boundaries and limits, theirs and yours. We tend to talk about this most in terms of dominance, and we did bring it up in that Dom video we just recorded. But there are submissives who don't respect boundaries and limits. I've seen dominants say this. You've even kind of talked about this a little bit in the past. There are submissives out there who basically treat their doms like kink dispensers. Like, this is what I want. You have to give it to me because that's what you do. You give the things as the dominant. That's just kind of gross. And it's definitely not a good sign. But even when you don't understand, even when you're disappointed that, oh, that's a boundary of yours and, oh, that was the thing I was hoping to do, just the fact of respecting each other's needs and desires and lack of desires, that's a very good sign.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's something that goes a long way. You know, boundaries and limits, those are important things.
Yes. And there is still a gnat flying on me. I'm so sorry, y'all.
So, you know, yeah, it's important stuff.
It's kind of
Sorry.
the obvious
I was distracted
stuff by my flapping. Podcast listeners, be grateful. You can't see this. It's kind of the obvious stuff. It's when somebody is not respecting your boundaries or your limits or how you're trying to negotiate your power exchange or your kink, it tends to be kind of a turnoff. But there are enough people, especially newer kinksters, who somehow think they're supposed to just do a thing, often with submissives, because that's their role. And they know it makes them feel kind of bad that, you know, their desires and wishes don't seem to be respected, but people convince themselves that this is normal. It's not normal. The ability to go, this person over here are a separate entity from me and have your own wants and needs and desires and things you like and things you don't like. And I respect that as part of your humanity. And also I have my own. And our point is to find the Venn diagram of where the things we both like overlap.
Right.
That is, for many of us who have gone through some really bad relationships and finally found our ways into good relationships and have finally figured out what we will tolerate and what we won't tolerate, it's kind of like, oh, well, no shit. But too many people really think that power exchange is so out there and out of the ordinary from all of the rest of existence that they have to sometimes be told, no, it's a good sign when your partner respects your boundaries and limits things, and allows you to set them. Yeah. And we can both attest that it's not always easy when a partner sets a boundary, especially if it's how you've been this whole time. And they're like, when you set the safe word for when I'm gone overboard in talking or planning or the intensity of that is me, Kayla Lords.
The intensity that is.
I'm not going to lie and say that it felt real good that I'm a person that another person had to go, look, I have to put a safe word in place to get you to stop talking. This is a boundary I'm creating. It says everything about me about how I handled that. I have my own inner disappointment because part of that's my own makeup. I was like, I felt awful because what kind of person am I that I can't shut the fuck up? If you've been here for 5 minutes, you know that person who can't shut the fuck up. But the more important thing was, okay, this is what he needs, and this is how I don't have to constantly worry, am I doing the right thing or the wrong thing? Yeah. I can be who I am, and then you have the limit of this is my moment when it's too much, and then I respect that. And that's
But you've also learned over time that even though I may need to end the conversation for that moment, we do come back to it.
Yeah.
It's not the end of the conversation per se. It's more like a pause.
Sure, and actually by the time we come back to it, I've usually calmed the hell down.
Yeah.
Which is just yet another fucking example of why patience is important and taking your time is important, and I fucking hate it, but it works. Okay, the next green flag, and for impatient people, this one is hard. You take the time to get to know each other. I'm not saying that instant chemistry, instant spark, instant vibe isn't real. And I know that some people, they are the minority, but some people can meet a person and kind of hit it off and kind of move through the process faster than others. But in that process, no matter what your speed is, getting to know one another as people is important. This goes back to this idea that some submissives treat doms like kink dispensers. Well, what do you know about that dominant that you're trying to like get them to like do whatever kinky thing to you? Like, do you know who they are? Do you know what their hopes and dreams and fears that they're willing to share with you are? What do you know about them? Conversely, I think about the people who are like, I talked to you yesterday, today you own me. What do you know about this person? The other, to me it's scary. Other people might not see it this way. Are the people who are like, I've been in this power exchange for 8 months, 9 months. I'm taking this from a memory of a long ago email. We've been together 8 or 9 months online. In that time, I've told them, here's my laundry list of details I've shared with them. Here is my equivalent, could fit on a sticky note of what I know about them, and I'm not sure any of that is true. Like, I don't actually know where they live. I don't know their real name. I don't know if they've ever been married, if they're currently married. I don't know any. I know that they own me. And I mean, yes, do we see that in Subfrenzy a lot? Yes, we just published a blog post on lovingbdsm.net this week about signs of Subfrenzy, and that is definitely one of them. But if you're like, are we in a good place in this relationship? Is this relationship moving in the right direction? One of those signs is, are you taking the time to get to know each other, and are both partners forthcoming about some details? Like, I think there's a thing that we'll talk about this when we get to talking about boundaries a little bit more, but there's a difference between privacy and secrecy. Like, we all get to maintain privacy. We don't have to share every detail of our life the moment we meet somebody that we're going to call our dom or our sub. But in the process of forming that relationship, we should be divulging things that are pertinent to that situation.
Sure, like, absolutely.
When you and I first met, you did not need my full medical history, but certainly by the time we played with erotic humiliation, you needed to know that there were words.
Correct.
That triggered my anxiety so bad.
Correct.
I couldn't have told you when we first met that too much weight on my body triggers a panic attack, but that is now information I have to either remind you of or I would have to share with a new partner. We're not having sex in missionary because you put your weight on me. I will panic. I have to tell them that. I don't have to go into all of it. I don't have to talk about my traumatic childhood, but I have to share that information now. Right. So there has to be an exchange of information as there is an exchange of power, and you get to set your boundaries with that. You get to keep things private, but you can't be keeping secrets. And if there's a lot of secret keeping, I'm going to say we're in red flag territory, not green flag territory.
I mean, when we met and we started heading toward the relationship, I gave you my full name. All right. I said, here's my Facebook page. And I was like, do a background check on me. Find out who I am. So, I didn't hold any of that back from you.
And I did. I mean, I didn't do a background check, but I did what many people do. I Googled the fuck out of you. I found your Facebook profile and then scrolled back through months and months and months. And you weren't even a heavy poster, but I was like all the way back.
Oh, my goodness.
I could have told you stuff about birthday parties you attended several years prior. I did my due diligence.
Okay. All right.
But yeah, I also think a green flag is being curious about the other person. It goes back to communication. It goes back to, Yeah, it goes back to communication. That sort of curiosity about the other person. Like, what do you do? Who are you? What do you love? What do you hate? What makes you happy? What makes you sad? Like, let me know who you are. Like, that's a really good sign.
I mean, I was asking you stuff, well, what foods do you like? What's your favorite TV show?
We used to play 20 questions.
Oh, yeah.
I loved that because I'm a nosy bitch. I was like, I'm going to ask all kinds of questions. And then, of course, we also had the freedom to go, I don't want to answer that right now.
Yeah.
I'm not comfortable answering that. And you have to have that ability to do that as well.
Right.
So the next one that's a green flag relates to everything we write. Apparently these were building on one another, and I didn't realize it as we were making this list. And it's that the person is open and transparent within their boundaries. And this is where it goes back to what I was talking about, the difference between privacy and secrecy.
Yes.
So you're trying to get to know them, and they're willing to allow you to get to know them while still maintaining their own privacy. So we go back to, I don't have to give you my full medical history upon meeting, but the moment our kink play diverges into an area where you have to know information so we can play safely, I'm going to tell you that. But also it's as simple as once you've been talking online for a while and you're establishing this rapport, and the idea is that you're going to take it offline eventually, my name is, I live in this town. Like, you don't have to give your street address, but you can say what city you live in if it's long distance. You can say things like, I used to be married, or I'm going through a divorce. Sometimes this is pertinent information a person needs to know to decide if they want to be with you or not, quite frankly. I mean, you don't have to say, I have 4 kids, their names are, their ages are, their zodiac signs are, this is the hospital they were born, but you can say, I've got 4 kids, and you can leave it at that, right? Again, some of this is about that sharing of information to get to know one another.
It's about building of trust and comfort.
Exactly. It's about having a sense of who the person is that you're dealing with. And I know some people will hold back certain details because they're afraid the other person won't like them or will dump them. And I get it. I get that fear, that it sucks when that happens, but this is that moment where I'd rather tell you some of that shit up front and let you self-select your way out the door so I can move on and find somebody else. It goes back to I can't remember the video we talked about it in, or the stream or the podcast. Or we talk so much I don't remember when and where we talk anymore. But we talked about the decision between putting the fact that you're kinky, whether you know your role or not, dom, sub, whatever, in a dating profile versus not doing it, especially if you're like on a vanilla dating site, right? Or a vanilla dating app. It's like, do I put that information out there or not? I know that I'm going to put that out there because I might have to deal with creepers, and there might be a lot of blocking and deleting going on, but I also need people to look at me and go, oh, that's not going to work because that's not who I want. And don't waste my fucking time. That's an extreme of first day version of, okay, now we're trying to maybe establish this relationship. I'm going to be open and honest with you within my boundaries, maintain my own privacy for safety or just comfort or whatever. But I'm also going to give you information about who I am so you can decide, is this who you really want to be with? Which is why I have zero tolerance and use for people who are married and are trying to find other partners and aren't telling the person, by the way, I'm married. You were married when we first met. I found that out like right at the same time you were telling me that, because it wasn't the first detail you started with. We thought we were just going to be friends and it didn't matter. But as we were getting to know one another and we realized, ooh, there's something there, you gave me your real name. I had researched you. I had found your wife. And probably the next conversation, we were talking about relationships. And you were like, yeah, I'm not happy in this marriage. I don't see this lasting. This is who I am, blah, blah, blah. And you actually fully expected me to bail. And again, I was still in denial that we were not romantically inclined. It was fine. But the moment we were romantically inclined, I went, this isn't fine anymore. And we dealt with it. But that is information that the other person deserves to know, because some people aren't going to care. Some people are going to care very deeply. Right? Like, it's going to matter to them.
Right.
And so when you are open and transparent to that degree, that's a good sign.
Yeah.
Because if you're saying it now in early days, when how much does it matter? How important is it? How much weight do these details carry? Sometimes a little bit, sometimes a lot. It usually means that you're going to continue that on later in the relationship. Not always. It's not a one-to-one automatic, but it's a good sign for the future.
But it ups the chance.
Yeah,
yes.
Exactly. Okay, next one. Does what they say they'll do. The other word for that is integrity. And this is definitely an any side of the slash human thing. I mean, we talk about it in terms of submissives agree to do things and they need to do them, and doms say they'll take this responsibility. Yeah. But in general, are you a person who is trying to the best of your abilities to do what you say that you'll do? And when you can't, go back to the very top one, you communicate that. Because we can't always do what we said we would do. It's just not always possible. Life happens. Shit happens. Things get fucked up. Okay, well, the moment that happens, because this is about my personal integrity on the line, I'm turning around and going, okay, we got to talk about this. I said I was going to do this. Here's why.
And this also goes hand in hand with consistency.
Yes.
All right.
Absolutely. And consistency is huge in power exchange. It's a little bit of consistency is how the power exchange can move from moment to moment. It's about how trust is maintained, because again, you're trusting that the person's going to do the thing they said they would do. They're going to be the person they said they were, all that good stuff. But if you're looking for signs in your relationship, are things going well? Is this a good thing? Here comes that fucking gnat again. When a partner does what they say they'll do, that's a thing to be applauded and celebrated, because we all have had the experience or even been the person who did not do what we would say we would do. Now, there is a part of that. There's a nuance to that. I have in the past been this type of person. Some of us overcommit, overpromise, and then underdeliver. There's a lot of reasons people do that. People pleasing being part of it, conflict avoidance being part of it, being very sure of our abilities in a moment, and then reality setting in, like lots and lots of reasons. The measure of a person is not that they did that. It is what they do when they realize, oh, fuck, I can't do this thing. And if they can, over time, come to some self-realization that, oh, I do that a lot, don't I? And that's kind of shitty, and that's not helping anybody. And is there something I can do to stop doing that? It's a self-awareness, I think. So you can be an overpromiser and an overcommitter and an underdeliverer, and you're going to annoy people. You already know that about yourself. Or you're going to kill yourself, which is what I used to do. I mean, I used to, like, break my back to get shit done because I was like, I said I would do this thing. Instead of going, I am so sorry I said I would do this thing, and I can't fucking do this thing. I know to this day what I will do. I will keep my word if I can. The lesson I then have to try to learn is to not do that the next time. But in a relationship, right? Power exchange, friendship, doesn't matter. This is a person you're trying to, like, have a thing with for more than 5 seconds. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do my best to keep my commitment. If I can't, I'm definitely going to admit it. But then when we're done with that moment, then it's, okay, we have to have a conversation. I did this. I overcommitted. It's making me feel like a shitty person. It's exhausting me. You're starting to question my integrity. I want to try and fix this. Let's talk this out. Sometimes your partner can offer suggestions. Sometimes they can just be aware of it. Being aware of it, I think, is half of the battle.
Half the battle.
So when you go to ask for something, maybe you're like, I'm actually only asking for this much. Let's, let me know. It's a little bit of understanding who you're talking to. Like, if you know you're talking to somebody where you asked for one thing and they said, but I can do 5, and you know they're an overpromiser, you can be like, I only want the 1. Don't give me 5, right? Like, you can, you have that awareness of that person, and you can sort of work within that with them. But yeah, do what you say you'll do to the best of your abilities, and when you can't, you fucking admit it and you talk it through. You don't ghost a person. You don't drop them. You don't, to the best of your ability, appear to be a liar or somebody who is gonna just whatever, because that does more damage long term, because that hurts. It makes it hard to learn how to trust a person. It means you're not dependable, and quite frankly, in power exchange especially, you have to be dependable on some level. Not in all things, in all ways, at all times. But you have to depend on the fact that I am your submissive and I'm going to do what we agreed to do. I'm going to do my tasks. I'm going to follow my rules. I'm going to whatever. And if I can't, you have to trust me to tell you that I can't, and here's why. That's what I mean by that. Yeah. Apparently, these all create little mini rants. I'm going to trademark that. Okay. Here's another one. The people involved in the relationship take responsibility for themselves.
Yes.
So let's back up here. In power exchange, part of the element of that exchange can be a desire or a working towards a dominance, taking charge and responsibility for the submissive partner or certain actions or certain parts of the relationship or certain aspects of life. Yes, yes, yes. And that is great and wonderful, and as long as it works, and have a good time. But we are always human individuals.
That's right.
Grown-ass adults. And we still have to be able to take responsibility for ourselves and our actions and our wants and our needs, and that means a lot of things.
Sure. Oh, yeah. It means knowing when you've made a mistake. It means owning up to said mistake and saying, I'm sorry. All right. And admitting a mistake and saying you're sorry, apologizing, is not a weakness.
No, not at all. Not at all. And I think that's something that everybody needs to hear and be reminded of. Dominants especially need to hear and be reminded of it. On the flip side, though, for submissives, there's the taking responsibility. In my mind, when I think of taking responsibility for myself as a submissive, that means it is my job to say, I can't do this. I don't like that. That's a hard limit. You tied the knot too tight, Daddy. This hurts in not a good way. Like, I have to advocate for myself. We've talked about that before.
Yes.
I have to protect myself. I trust you. We've got all these years in now. I trust you. You are never willingly, non-consensually going to hurt me. Mentally, physically, emotionally.
Well, you try not to break your toys.
But also, you are a fallible human being and shit happens. And also, for all of our communication, you cannot 100% know what's going on in my head every moment of every day. First of all, it's exhausting for me to live in this head, okay? I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy, let alone the love of my life, okay? Like, what? So, in my mind, when I'm thinking of responsibility for myself, it is for the care and well-being of myself, even when I know that 99% of the time, I can rely on you and depend on you to be paying attention, to not fuck up, whatever. I just don't give up over my entire sense of self, though. I still have to, I mean, it's sort of like my, I don't want to say annoyance, it might be a little strong, maybe my side eye at people who are like, I am submissive every moment of every day. And maybe you are. But do you go to work and talk to and treat your boss the way you treat your dominant? Maybe you do. Maybe you're living that life. Okay, I think you're the exception to the rule is what I think. We still have to navigate every other facet of our life. And even in the most highly micromanaged, like owner-slave, like intense dynamics, there are still moments when the little s has to be responsible for themselves, has to take care of life for themselves, has to speak up, has to self-advocate, has to go, this isn't going to end well, and here's what you need to know. Like, my favorite, I think we got it, was it from the Playing Well with Others book? I don't know. We've now read so many kink books this year, I can't keep the good advice straight where I got it from, but there you go. And it was that sort of that thing of, as a submissive slave, it was written for owner-slave dynamic, but it works for any little s. As a submissive, I have a responsibility to protect you from sometimes even yourself, which means also protecting myself from you. Because the whole idea being, you want me to be happy and whole and in one piece. And if I see you making a decision that will fuck that up.
Mm-hmm.
I have a responsibility to say something, to do something about that.
True. And another aspect of that is, you know, a big thing in DS and the power exchange is a big D looking out for their submissive to take care of themselves, right? To maybe eat right, to exercise. You know, one of the big ones you see a lot about is having a bedtime, you know, to get enough sleep.
Yeah, because most of us just chronically don't get enough sleep.
Yeah.
That's a human condition.
But at the same time, in order for me to look after you, I need to be responsible for myself and also take care of myself.
Right. And the thing is taking responsibility for yourself does not mean that you don't need to accept help, that you can't have assistance in it, that your partner can't be a support for that.
Right.
But it's responsibility for your health and wellness and wholeness and your body, responsibility for your actions, responsibility for the agreements you're making in this power exchange, that you're going to do your part, and when you can't do your part, you're going to communicate it.
Right.
It is not the dom's responsibility to make sure the submissive, one, does absolutely every single thing that's ever been agreed, two, that they're happy every single moment, three, that they're a fucking mind reader, four, that you know, nothing ever goes wrong. Just like it's not the submissive's responsibility to make sure that every moment of every day, without fail, without question, they take care of their dom to their own detriment.
Yeah.
So,
well, I mean, that's just like on
top of many other examples of taking responsibility.
I mean, I came to you a while back and I was like, look, you know, I've got something going on right now. I'm a little on uncertain ground. I need to work through this. I don't know if there's anything you can help me with through it at this point, but I wanted you to be aware of where I am at. Which
goes back to, what are words? I don't know. Communication, boundaries, being open and transparent, and taking responsibility for yourself. Because you knew that this thing was probably going to impact our power exchange.
Right.
Giving me a heads up means we're not setting false expectations. That when there is disappointment or sadness or, that didn't work out, I'm not in the dark. I'm not blaming an unknown thing. I'm not jumping to conclusions. We've had this conversation.
Yeah.
Okay. Next, green flag. Everybody in the power exchange wants the kink or the relationship or both, depending on how you're navigating power exchange, to be a good experience for you both, i.e. making sure that everyone is getting some of or all of what they need, hopefully what they want. You don't always get what you want, but you often get what you need. Fucking hate it, but it's true. But actively wanting it, it's not just about what I want, it's about what you want, it's about what we can experience together. That's a very good sign.
I can sum that up in one word. Exactly. So that everybody gets something of what they need. You know, not everybody's going to get all of what they need. You're not going to get all of what you need. But if we meet somewhere in the middle, we're going to find a little piece of happiness.
Exactly. And to give you the comparison of what is not, there's definitely a red flag, and what the opposite of this is, it is the submissive who demands specific control and domination and kink from a dom like they're a kink dispenser. It is the dom that says and means and somehow thinks is reality, I'm the dom, I can do whatever I want, your needs don't matter, you don't get to safe word, who cares about your boundaries, you'll do what I want the way I want. And it makes my fucking skin crawl to see bullshit like that. And it hurts my heart that there are people out there who go, okay, BDSM is so far outside of the realm of the vanilla world that this must be how it is, because that's what porn looks like to me, and that's what this one 30-second scene I once saw looked like, so this must be it. Okay, I give up all personhood, I give up all, desire of my own desires and what I actually want. Sure, that's submission, and fuck no, it's not. And it is a very, very good sign when each side of the slash is working together to figure out what you're going to do that's good for both of you. And sometimes that means you don't always get to do all the things you want to do because that Venn diagram's not working in your favor there. And sometimes it means that the most important kinks are very closely aligned, and yay, let's move forward. I'm very, very fortunate. I feel like that the our biggest kinks align. I mean, we're each other's
Yeah.
other side of the slash.
Yeah.
But we've also negotiated our relationship in such a way that if there were needs, and you have had them in the past, that cannot be fulfilled by the other, we have worked out for us, because it's what it works out for us, that the other person can go explore that outside of the two of us. That will not work for everybody, and that's okay. Ethical non-monogamy is not a requirement for kink, but that is how some kinksters navigate that. So that, again, the whole purpose being, whatever we do together or whatever life we're trying to create, everybody's, to the best of our ability, getting some of what they need. It's not one-sided. Right. A scene might appear one-sided. There might be times where you negotiate a little bit of a one-sided kind of thing. But even within that negotiation, what is the other person getting that they want or need from it? Are they getting a sense of satisfaction? Are they getting just to play? Are they getting some level of pleasure, even if the action in that particular scene is geared more towards the other person?
Right.
Okay. Next, and you were like, put this in, and I went, okay. A green flag in a power exchange relationship is that, to the best of your ability, you empathize with each other.
Absolutely.
We did an episode on empathy. Empathy is not always easy for people. It is, I think, like anything, I think it's just another learned skill. If you struggle with empathy, my top thing is just learn how to ask questions. Don't assume. You're trying to understand what the other person's going through, and you can't feel it for yourself. So just ask. Quite frankly, just asking questions can make somebody feel seen and heard and understood, because you're not making assumptions. Empathy for the other person's struggle, empathy for the other person's pain, empathy for, this is hard, even though this is a relationship we both really, really want. I'm going through it right now, and I can't do the thing that I would normally do because of, an illness, an injury, a hard time at work, whatever. Right. Empathy in a scene also, I think, is extreme in kink, is extremely important. Like, I want to hit you this certain way because I get my rocks off on it, but also, is that the way you want to be hit? That's not just boundaries. That's, how is the other person responding to this? Where are they at in this? How do I, I want them to feel good. I want them to have what they need. Okay, so then it's not just about me, it's about you. That's another, I think, kink-specific example of empathy. And it's caring of the other, for the other person's humanity,
and
just as much as anything else.
I have used this as an example in the past. It's kind of like, you're given a task, and you don't perform your task. Okay, well, did you not perform it because you were just flat out being defiant? Or with you, I know from past experience, if you don't do a task, something's seriously wrong. Are you feeling okay? Do you have a migraine? If you don't do something because you have a migraine, I am not going to sit there and berate you for not doing a task or punish you for it. No, I'm going to say, oh, okay, go lay down in the dark bedroom. I'll take care of this, and we'll call it done.
Well, another one that comes to mind that just happened the other night showed a lot of things. These things all tend to overlap, but a point of empathy that you clearly showed. We had stayed up late. We had watched a lot of TV. I think it was the night we finished Lucifer. So we were both emotional messes. And because I realized, I was like, oh shit, we can't go to bed till we do dishes, or the cats will not have a bowl to eat their breakfast out of at 30 in the morning. So I stopped everything real quick and I filled the dishwasher. That took 5 minutes, no big deal. But I was clearly distracted. Still, like, my face was still puffy from all the crying I did at the end of Lucifer. No spoilers, don't worry. I'm all over the place. I'm not focused like I normally am. I'm now also out of the routine of what we do before we go to bed. Dishes are not usually one of them. And you saw me, like, circling the kitchen, and you gave me a nudge. You were like, what about the coffee pot? Now, we know, and God, we've talked about it ad nauseum here, that one of my daily tasks, it's all coffee, right? Like, I get the coffee pot done at night so you can have coffee in the morning. I do this, I do that. I know it's one of my tasks. There's no question. It's something that on the few times I've forgotten, I always feel awful about. And yes, there are some people out there who are like, you should know I'm not giving you a reminder. Why should I do that? This is your job to serve. You shouldn't need me to say anything.
Mm-hmm.
But empathy allowed you to go, she is completely out of her routine. Her head's not even in the right space. She's gonna feel shitty if she wakes up tomorrow and realizes she didn't do it. And also, I'm gonna be annoyed because I won't have it ready and just be able to push the button. A quick nudge is the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Right? It goes back to something actually we said in the Dom video that we're teasing a lot in this episode. I hope people watch it when it comes out. Of not setting me up to fail.
Right.
Like, you saw an opportunity and you understood to as much as you could where my head was at, and so you gave a little bit of assistance so that we kept moving on the path we want to move on.
I know I've been around you long enough to know you are a creature of habit. Mm-hmm. You have a mental checklist at night before bed. You run through that mental checklist. Mm-hmm. Now, I also know, yes, we were both an emotional wreck at the end of the series.
Damn you, Lucifer!
And I know you well enough, because the dishes are not something you normally do, that for you, having a so-called monkey wrench thrown in the gears would be enough to throw you off of your normal checklist routine. So yeah, it just.
But you knowing that, one, there's a lot. These, again, I'm gonna say it again. All these things overlap, right? Mm-hmm. It's time spent together. It's observation. It's communication. But it's giving a shit enough to think of those things and thinking about where my head might be at and understanding where I might be at mentally. That is a massive sign of empathy.
Yeah.
And yes, did you come by that from us being together for years, from how we've done things day in, day out, from talking about things from yeah, of course you did. You could have understood all of that and left it there, but you took that empathy to the next level, to the level that helps keep relationships going, and acted on it. And instead of going, well, I'm the big bad dom and she should just fucking remember, and I'll, she'll just deal with the consequences later, you were like, little nudge, so that because you had that empathy. That nudge came from a lot of places. Part of that was your empathy to me, because you could understand where I might be at and what might be going on, and you could just sort of see it playing out in front of you.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, to me, it's still an act of dominance that you gave the nudge, because you wanted what the fuck you wanted. And you knew that the best way to get what the fuck you wanted was to fucking communicate. And you could do it in a way that didn't ask, that didn't even demand. It was just I think you're forgetting something. Have you done this? Boom. And then I was back to my submissive headspace, and we were back on track.
And that brought you back into...
Exactly.
Yeah, it centered you.
It centered me.
Yeah.
Okay. Next one. So that's a green flag. You're willing to learn new things, to learn and grow, to expand your horizons. And that can be in the relationship skills that you kind of feel like you could do better on. That can also be in your kink skills. That can be in figuring out how to deal with this partner and interact with this partner and their unique needs, especially if you know you're the type of person who's like, well, in my last relationship we didn't, in my last dynamic we didn't, blah, 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 blah. Deal with the fucking person in front of you and their unique presence and what they bring to this, and figure that shit out. But that willingness to learn and grow, and not stick with but this is how I've always done it. I understand that urge. I'm a creature of habit who loves routine. I would like to always do the things I've always done that I'm comfortable doing because I think I'm good at them. The way we become better people, have better relationships, and find happiness in this life is to fucking grow a little. So I've had to get out of my comfort zone, and apparently I busted through that comfort zone like the fucking Kool-Aid man, because now I'm exactly, let me learn all the things. What can I do better? How can I grow I've gone too far is what I've said here. But that, and I don't think it has to be in big ways. It can be the, oh shit, I'm the worst communicator ever, and I want this relationship to work, so I'm gonna go hard on learning how to communicate. It can be that. It can be small things. It can be Realizing that an old technique like emailing one another is a great way for us to deal with conflicts.
Yeah.
You know, and that,
or avoid it.
Or avoid it completely.
Mm-hmm.
Having empathy for the other person allows you to learn something about them little by little, and so then you learn new ways of interacting with them. It can be big, it can be small, it can be kinky, it can be not kinky. In Power Exchange, I tend to think of learning kinks. You know, I don't have a lot of tolerance for people who are like, I've been doing this kink for 30 years. There's nothing new for me to learn. That's so cute of you. Okay, go have a good time with that. Stay the fuck away from me. Okay, because even if you know as many techniques as there are, and you've kind of been there, done that, humans are imaginative creatures, and you can always learn a new way to do an old thing, a way maybe you hadn't seen before, right? So even in the fun fuckery part, learning and growing, that's I'm not impressed when people are like, this is who I've always been and this is just who I'll always be. Okay, you can do that over there. Not in this space with me. Thanks. Hi. Okay. Sorry. These things are causing little rants because what happens is, to talk about the green flag, I talk about what it's not, and then I get mad. And so there we are. Okay. The last one, oh my God, the gnat is back. The last one on our list. And for those who are like, what is the list? I will do a rundown of this, and we will write it down in places later. Oh, anybody watching on YouTube is having a field day. I'm trying to catch a gnat. Last one. Green flag. And we kind of talked about this in other ones.
Yeah.
Admits when they're wrong. Admits when they're wrong. There's admitting you don't know something, and then there's admitting you were wrong. And admitting you were wrong can come out in a lot of different ways. It can come out in the, I overcommitted. I now have to admit that I was wrong and should have told you that I couldn't do that. It could be when you're like, oh, I thought there was only this one way to tie this one knot and do this one bondage scene, because I've been doing it for 30 years and I know everything. I was wrong. There was another way. It goes back to integrity and building trust, and I feel like just admitting that you're human. You know, I do think that sadly there are expectations that we put on our kinky partners, but also that we internalize for ourselves as kinky partners, that we are somehow supposed to be infallible. We're supposed to be perfect. Dominants tend to do it because, well, I'm in charge, I'm in control, I'm responsible, so I can never fucking make a mistake. Submissives do it because it's like, I have this list of tasks, this list of rules, this list of expectations, these things I promised I would do, I can never fucking do it wrong. And that is not good for anybody if you either internalize the idea that you're never supposed to do anything wrong, or you're never allowed to admit that you did anything wrong. Both are not great. Being humble enough to kind of go, yeah, that didn't work. And you can do it together. We changed our entire dynamic organically. We've talked many times about how we went from being sir and every other thing you ever called me to daddy and baby girl.
Right.
Because we started with what we were used to, what we thought that's what DS was.
Right.
That's just what we were accustomed
to. Basically what I had prior before.
Me too. Yeah. Me too. And we thought, okay, that's who we are. And realizing organically that we are somebody different with one another.
Right.
And it wasn't so much an admission. We didn't sit down and go, oh, I just want you to know I've been mistaken all these years. You're not really sir, you're daddy. I'm not really whatever, I'm baby. Like, it wasn't that. It was just an organic admission that didn't work, but this does, and we'll move over to this because it's better for the relationship. So sometimes admitting when you're wrong is not this throw yourself on your sword mea culpa thing. It's just we can shift, we can do something different because that didn't work.
And not being afraid to change.
Ooh, yeah. Which goes up to, also overlaps with being willing to learn new things, because being willing to learn new things requires change on some level, which I know is difficult. Look, I'm a perfectionist who's very anxious and diagnosed has OCD. I like things in the way that I like things, because then I know what to expect and I don't have to worry, and there's a lot. I know. But also I know that my life has become immensely better when I've been willing to grow and change, even if it's a teeny tiny little bit at a time, even if it's just take on a new idea and let it swim around in my head a little bit until it feels comfortable, or learn a new skill, or try a new method. Like, don't, the old method worked, but maybe this new method will work too, and I'll like it better. And it's always easy to do. Sometimes it's exciting. Like learning wax play, that was exciting. Okay. Learning to shut the fuck up and stop overwhelming you with my intensity, not exciting. But it makes for a better relationship.
Yeah.
On this one, admitting that you're wrong, is there anything else you want to add?
I think between what you said, what we covered in the prior video, I think we're good.
I know. Have I sucked up all the oxygen? Of course I have. Sometimes it's what I do. It's that intensity. So I do want to run down this list kind of quickly. And the entire written list will be in the show notes page on Friday, lovingbdsm.net. Yeah. And we will probably see other content about this over time because I think this is important stuff. So green flags, the positives, the good things, the signs that you're probably on the right path. Things are probably going well.
There you go.
They do not mean that your relationship will always be perfect. They do not mean that you will even always stay together. But they do mean that this is probably a decent relationship that is going someplace good.
Heading in the right direction.
Yeah. Also, we do not think these are the only green flags. These are the ones we could think of, okay? So there's willing to communicate or to at least learn to communicate.
Right.
Respecting boundaries and limits of everybody. Taking the time to get to know each other.
Yeah.
Being open and transparent about who they are within their boundaries. Remember, difference between privacy and secrecy.
Yep.
Doing what they say they'll do. Taking responsibility for themselves. Wanting the kink or relationship to be a good experience for everybody involved. Showing empathy. Being willing to learn new things, to learn and grow. And then, finally, admitting when they're wrong. Taking the personal responsibility. And ideally, growing and changing from that. Fixing it. Like, it's one thing to go, yeah, I was wrong. And then to fucking keep repeating that. Red flag, red flag, red flag.
Yeah.
But admit you're wrong.
Learn from the mistake.
Learn from it. Fix it. Try to do better next time. There's a expression. I don't know that it's like a common expression. It's a thing I heard somebody say that has nothing to do with kink or power exchange or relationships, and it was actually about business. And it is something that it's a little mini internal mantra I keep in my head for my work purposes that I think some people might find useful in power exchange relationships when you're trying to navigate this with another human being. And that is, don't be afraid to be seen trying, okay? Doms, you are not perfection under the sun. You did not, come forth fully formed, knowing all the things, doing all the things. The good Doms never think that about themselves, by the way. It is either the pedestal their submissive puts them on, or it's the predators who've been watching too much fucking porn and need to get the fuck out of here. Submissives, especially my fellow anxious perfectionist souls, you're gonna fuck up. You're gonna miss something. You're gonna get it wrong. You're gonna forget. You're gonna not follow your tasks. It's not gonna be quite right. And it's okay. And then within the relationship, the interpersonal stuff, no matter how good of a communicator you think you are, and I think we're pretty fucking good, you're gonna be snarky when you should have been empathetic. You're gonna roll your eyes when you meant to keep them downcast and was trying to look respectful. You're not gonna listen when you desperately need to listen. It's gonna happen. But the best relationships, it's not that they don't have those problems. It's that they figure out how to navigate those problems. They do their best every day to try to be the partner they want for themselves, the partner that they really want to be for the other person. And also they go, I'm going to fuck that up. I have fucked that up. What are we going to do about it? How do we make it better? How do I fix it? How do I repair it? How do I grow from it? Don't be afraid to be seen trying. That applies to so much in life. And I definitely think that applies to power exchange. And so those are our green flags, the signs that things are maybe going well. I would say, one, if you yourself can think of other things that are important to you or just maybe think are pretty general that we didn't mention, there's the comment section on YouTube, there's live chat on YouTube, there's Twitter, there's wherever. Feel free to like shout those out. Also, I think it's okay if your personal list of green flags and what will help you think that this relationship is in a good place or has got potential is different than ours. It's okay. We all have our own different values and things that are important to us. Those things are very important to us. And we can easily relate back to those things, how they have helped our relationship form and stay strong and grow. And so that's where our list comes from.
Yeah. Time to take a breath.
I know. See, it's the intensity. The rest of y'all are going to be asking for a fucking safe word too. But you know what you get? You get a pause button. Okay? You get a pause button. And the safe word that JB has is his pause button. So,
yep. There you go.
I mean, if we could just live a relationship where I record everything and you just listen to it, you wouldn't need it. You would have the pause button.
True.
Considering the running monologue? No, sometimes it's a dialogue.
Yeah.
The running stuff I have in my head, no, nobody should put a microphone to that. I should not record any of that. But it is constant.
On that note.
It's constant. I could keep going. We're not gonna, but I could.
So are we good?
I don't know. I let other people decide that. You are other people.
We're good.
Okay. Keep it kinky, y'all. And we'll see you next week. Dottie.
Yes, baby girl.
Can I talk to the crickets, please? Please.
Go ahead, baby girl.
Thank
Talk
you,
to the
Dottie.
crickets.
See, that is the other way to get me to shut the fuck up and slow the fuck down. Create an audio note-taking, and also, you know, I've been yelled at multiple times. I learned, you yell at me enough, I will stop. If your name is JB. So this week is a little off for us. Podcast listeners, this will mean nothing to you, but we did stream this live stream recording where we record the audio podcast 30 minutes earlier because kids are getting out of school early, and so JB has to go do kid pickup duty earlier than he normally would. This, as far as we know, will be a monthly thing. There will be one Wednesday a month where we're a little bit early, which kind of throws us off too, because we have like a whole system down for how we get ready, when we get ready, and like I basically walk in the door from dropping the 12-year-old off at school and was like, boom, let's like run and start getting everything ready because we gotta cram things in because we're recording multiple videos and doing all kinds of stuff. Let's see what else. Oh, so for podcast listeners, I told myself, and I think I teased it a little bit in the intro, we had an oopsie with this week's mini podcast episode. It's not that we didn't record it. It's not even that the file corrupted. No. We recorded it. It sounds great. It was a duplicate of one we had recorded back in 2020. And I missed it when I was planning out the topics. And when I was figuring it out, I was like, I don't have the time or the energy to record another episode on the fly for mini-sode number 34. Mini-sode 34 will just be the lost episode. And in a year or 2 years, when people start showing up and they're listening to the back catalog, they'll be like, where is episode 34? And we'll all talk about it in hushed tones as the time... Kayla didn't know how to fucking read her own spreadsheet. So yeah, that was that. Elegantly Owned sponsors our mini episodes for the month of September, but don't worry. Shouted them out in the intro of the audio podcast. So if you're a person who usually fast forwards through the intro of the audio version of this podcast on your podcast app, feel free to go back to about minute 2.5, and I'm gushing over Elegantly Owned there. But also that just proves, don't fast forward through the intro because you think I'm going to say the same thing every time, because sometimes I might surprise you, is all I'm saying. I'm a maverick like that. What else for the bonus section? Lola has been living her best fucking life today. She snored through video recording. I talked about that at the top of the live stream. Also, every time I look up and I look over at the love seat where she lays in the office, she's been on her back with her all four paws just extended. Like, I've got not a care in the fucking world. And good for her. I'm glad we can give her that kind of life. We can't give ourselves that kind of life, but we can give her that life. So, the cats are little stinkers, like always.
Yeah.
Onyx usually stays in our bedroom at night, sleeps in the bed, wanders. She has access to the office because of an open window, but we keep our bedroom door closed, so Ella, who is very annoying, cannot come in our bedroom. And last night, she did not want to stay in the bedroom, and she was like pawing at the bedroom door.
So we're like, okay, you want to go out? I opened the door and let her out, and was like, see you in the morning.
And I feel like what she did was, it's like she went camping.
Yeah.
Except that means she went camping in the house all night with Ella, who meows all the fucking time. And so I feel certain she is not going to want to leave the bedroom at night for at least a couple of weeks.
Right?
She's like, no, it's good in here. I'm good in here.
Well, sometimes you have to have that experience to,
You do.
Yeah.
So the fur babies are good. As mentioned in the episode, we did finally finish watching Lucifer.
Yes.
The last 5 episodes of season 6, basically the entire second half of the final season, tore my guts out, and I sobbed every episode. No spoilers. It was a great ending.
It was. It really was. It was a fitting ending.
It was a fitting ending. Like, I had in my baby girl heart and mind here's what would be perfect, and it would not have actually worked. It wouldn't have made sense on a couple of levels, even though, like, I would have been happy. The way they ended it was heart-wrenching, but fitting.
Yeah.
But fitting.
Yep.
So, and then I was like, oh my God, I'm going to need some time to recover before we watch another show. And did we give ourselves time to recover?
No.
But we are finally watching.
But it's something totally...
complete 180 in tone and in vibe. And it is one that I've been told many times we needed to watch. I knew. I was like, no, I really do want to watch this. But I don't watch enough TV to care. I'm not the person who's like, oh, we have to watch this show. Like, I don't... Once I'm in a show, I'm like, I have to keep watching this show.
Yeah.
And that is Sex Education. And we are starting at season 1. I know season 3, if anybody does watch it, just hit Netflix. Weirdly, this is at least the second show, but maybe not even, maybe it's been more than that, where the 16-year-old has watched it first and either gushed about it, or we've caught scenes like while he's been watching or whatever, and we're like, why, yes, we will watch that. Sex Education was that show. He binged it over like couple of days between the 3 seasons. I walked into his bedroom at one point over the weekend, and he's curled up like a in his burrito blanket kind of thing. You can kind of see the remote peeking out from the top. He's just like curled up on his bed in a dim room, just staring at the TV. And I was like, I feel like you're living your best life. And he's like, I do too. I really do. But yeah, and then we turn on Sex Education, and the very first scene, like, I look up at the TV and there's just a pair of boobs like right in front of me and an active sex scene. And I was like, I believe I am an open, sex positive parent. I try to teach these children about all kinds of concepts that certainly my parents never taught me. I still would need to teach my parents. And to be really open with them and to like be very, practical and sort of like, and not react when like sex things are like, it's just... It's a fact of life. And all I could think as I'm watching this person bounce on top of this other person, I am so glad I'm not watching this with a 16-year-old right now. Right. I'm not mature enough right now at this point in life to watch a sex scene with my kid in the room. I'm just not. But also, I realized this show, we're only, 4 episodes in?
Yeah.
Just how different American TV... And I know it's streaming, so it's not TV in the same sense. Yeah. But American TV is from UK TV. Because I was like, that's a penis. That's a penis on my screen. That's a penis on my screen. That's a penis on my screen. And I'm supposed to be the sex sex positive mature one. I mean, I did keep that all in my head, but I was like, whoa, wow, that's okay. I am loving it though.
I am too.
I am loving it.
And it's very rare that the first episode of a show grabs me enough that I'm like, yeah, I want to keep watching this.
Yeah, normally you gotta work into it.
You kind of got to work into it, and it takes a couple episodes. But this kind of got me right from the start.
It did. It was compelling right from the start.
Yeah.
I immediately liked some characters. I immediately went, I don't like you as a person right now, but I will watch you. There's one weird show that's like a just brain candy kind of show. It's got no substance to it that you watch sometimes when you're like just bored.
When I just need,
Yeah, it's bad acting. It's bad storytelling. I'm not sure why we're watching it, but I get sucked in with you. And there are characters in there that annoy me.
Oh, yes.
To the point that I actually don't want to watch them. In sex education, there have been a couple of characters that I don't like right now. Like, I don't know how I'm hoping they'll get a character arc or something, but they don't make me actively not want to watch them.
Yeah.
They're interesting enough that I'm like, no, I want to see where this goes, but I don't. Like, it's like you're a real person and I just don't like you. I would like you to go away. Whereas in this other, like, bad show, it's like, I don't like you because you're being painted as a bad person, but also, God, get the fuck away from me. I want to turn my TV off now. So there's like a difference. So yeah. But yeah, I'm enjoying sex education, and if we actually like sit down and watch it, it won't take us long. I think there's 8 episodes a season, and there's 3 seasons. So yeah. What else?
What else?
Dog, cats, school, oopsies, TV. I mean, that's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot. Anything else? I mean, you've been working, I've been working, but that goes without saying.
That goes without saying. I haven't really been doing a whole lot. I've been wanting to get out on the motorcycle really bad.
I know, the weather is not cooperating.
And the weather has not been cooperating. Now, I did do one thing in concerns with the bike. Prior to getting the bike fixed, I had to retire all my rain gear.
It had gone gross.
It you know, I had used the heck out of it. And even the jacket, because it was high visibility, I used to wear it a lot at night, you know, and had to retire it. And, you know, right now we're not in a place that I can go out and get a good set of rain gear. And we went on a hunt. I took this one along for the ride, and we went to
every motorcycle shop that sells gear in our town.
Yep.
With all of their varying personalities and vibes.
Yeah.
It was an experience. But then I dragged you through 2 craft stores, so I don't feel bad.
True. And ended up not getting... what I was looking for was, my thought was, rather than, you know, get full-on rain gear at this point, to just get a vest, a reflective vest that I could wear. Found nothing in any of the stores. And I ended up finding something on Amazon at a very reasonable price that's going to work very well. I could wear it over a shirt. If I'm wearing the leather jacket, it will actually adjust to go over that. It's basically just straps.
It's like suspenders.
Straps.
Reflective suspenders.
Yeah.
And they work very well. This morning I like stumbled into the bathroom without trying to turn on the lights, and something caught my eye, because our bathroom, when you're sitting on the toilet, you can look directly into the bedroom at our dresser, and your suspenders were sitting on the dresser, and what caught my eye was the reflection.
Yeah.
Because I had turned on the bathroom light but not the bedroom light. I was like, oh yes, those work very well. Okay, good.
And what struck me about these, most of them that I looked at, they just had like a thin strip of reflective material, and this is like 2-3 inches wide. The straps,
yeah, they're pretty.
And it's full reflective material. So.
Yep.
Now I just need the weather to stop with the rain.
It's rained every day, which, because I know there are some places in the country, in the world, that are not getting the rain they need. I'm not complaining.
No. I mean, I'm very
also-
grateful we're not having a drought.
But also,
yeah.
it would be nice if it would just calm the fuck down.
Right.
We were asked, what about my new project? It's moving along slowly. If anybody's interested, I've started an Etsy shop. It is vanilla. It's under my name, Kayla Lords, but it is a vanilla shop. You can follow me on Instagram at Kayla Lords Reads if you are even remotely curious. I'm working on it. I'm trying to show my process on that Instagram handle. I link to the shop and all that there. And then we were asked if we have any plans for our anniversary next month. And I was just signing a permission slip for the 16-year-old for away games and bus trips and stuff. And looking at the schedule, on our wedding anniversary, we will be at a marching band competition.
Yeah.
Which, as a former band geek, I'm not unhappy about. But also, it's not the most romantic plan for whatever the hell year our wedding anniversary is this year. So we don't know how many years we've been married. We'll have to look it up. Can't believe I just admitted that. And probably will be at a marching band competition. And I cry every time I watch bands march on the field. If they're really good, I cry because I'm like, oh my God, that's really impressive. If they're really small and clearly struggling, and I cry because I'm like, look at them out there trying. And then if it's my kid in a band, I cry because I'm like, oh my God, my baby's out on the field doing what I did 20 years ago. It's a problem, and I know that, but, whatever.
Yeah. So
happy whatever year anniversary to us
right.
in October. That's what we'll be doing.
Yeah.
So... It's fun times over here. So there you go. That's it. I guess we're done. You've got to go leave soon to go pick up a
ready,
kid.
Yeah. And I'm hoping to take Lola along for the car ride.
Yeah, she hasn't gotten a car ride in ages.
No, it's been a while for her.
And we got an email from Starbucks about whatever, you could totally take her through Starbucks drive-thru on your way home, and she would not be mad about a puppuccino.
No, she wouldn't. She wouldn't.
And I don't think the 12-year-old would be mad about a whatever.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm saying,
yeah.
If you let me know, I'll mobile order. That's right.
Yeah.
So, okay, I think we're gonna be done. We're gonna wrap up. Thanks.
Little miss, I may have to keep that in mind. That sounds,
for podcasts, I was trying to ignore it. No offense, little miss. No offense. So, live stream chat says, as an anniversary gift, maybe Kayla should receive one spanking for every time she cries that day. I mean, I'm not unhappy about that.
That would be a lot of spanks.
I cry my way through marching band anything. The moment it triggers a memory of when I was doing it, yeah, and I did high school marching band for 7 years. It's a lot of memories to trigger. Okay, we're gonna go. Thank y'all for sticking with us to the bitter end. Yeah, we'll be back next week.
And Mr. Spock, that's a good idea. He mentioned the frog togs. Yeah, I will look into that. Yep.
Okay, we're gonna actually go now, though. Okay.
All right.
We love y'all. Thank y'all for being here. Thank y'all for listening, watching. We will see y'all next week. Bye.